What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've been sitting here debating if I want to do some recording today. I did a lot of errand this morning, a lot of personal stuff I had to take care of, and I came back. Obviously the sun is starting to set. Went to the parts store, grabbed a few things right here behind me, got some radiator hoses, some spark plugs, some alternator belt and stuff for the B20, and I'm really not that far from getting this car to turn on. I mean, literally like maybe one or two more steps. I spent yesterday working on the car off camera. You guys probably see right there the radiator's in place, but we can't finalize the radiator until we figure out a fan setup and a shroud setup. But for the most part, we have all the tabs tabbed up. I'll throw in some of the clips I did record yesterday. We're not going to fill up the cooling system just yet, but for the most part, we can still fire the car over like we did the B20. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to see if we're going to try to turn this car on. So let's get to it. Was getting a little comfortable in my chair because I fixed it, but I think what we're going to get into is the ECU, which is this harness here. Let me do a quick little once over with the ECU plugs, grab whatever I need, and then we'll get to installing that. Take note, we didn't do the wire tuck on this car. We're leaving all of the harness and stuff in the engine bay, but we are running into a slight little issue. This company made this conversion harness really short. This adapts to the harness itself, which goes directly on the engine, and then it adapts to the chassis to pull sensors and signals from the tower plug, which is in the engine bay. But this is way too short. Now, I rock CJS wiring on everything, but because I don't have spare those lying around, I'm using this company, and CJS wiring is definitely a lot longer than this for those who are keeping the harness in the engine bay. So I'm gonna have to peel back some sleeving to get this part of the harness to go inside the car, because this is what we need to hook up to that conversion harness. We're not going to be needing the OBD0 to OBD1 conversion anymore, so this is going to be a spare for me. And this right here is the OBD0 plugs for the ECU, and we're actually going to be needing a couple of wires from here for these guys here. So let me go get the paperwork that shows all of the pinouts and wire up all of these accordingly. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to wire directly to the wires. I'm going to pull apart a OBD0 ECU to take the plugs to make this plug and play. So unfortunately, I don't have any OBD0 PM5 ECUs that I can take the OBD0 plugs from to make this harness plug and play, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna peel back the sleeving, and then I'm just gonna tie it into the slot that it needs to be. I'm not going to solder it because I eventually want to make it a plug and play harness. We'll probably head to the junkyard to find an ECU that we can take the plugs from or order it online. But for right now, we're just gonna tie it into the ECU plug. Not the way that I prefer to do it, but just to steady making progress, we're gonna do it that way. Now, I can't find a freaking write-up paper that comes with the ride wire harness, but you can go to their website and the PDF file is on there. Simple enough, you follow the instructions here and tie all the wires in. You don't actually need all of the wires except the important things like 12-volt power, fuel pump. Even says it right there, wire below not necessary for engine start, which is backup power, check engine light, VSS speed, and electric load detector, ELD. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just wire these all one by one, and then we'll figure out the engine bay harness to this plug here. I hate that this harness has all one color wires, but they do label the wire to what they're supposed to be. Like this one here is green orange, and the ones we're looking for is yellow black. So let me find that. We have right here yellow black. This right here is for the 12-volt power. The second wire is green blue, which is this one here. The green blue is for the fuel pump. So I'm gonna pull that out. I'm not worried about all of the other ones. I'm not gonna splice all of these in just to take them back out. So we don't need these to start the car up like I mentioned. So I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, just kind of loop them out of the way here. Peel back a little bit of the sleeving. Yellow black. Location on the OBD0 plug is A13. This is the A plug, big white plug, A13. I'm gonna count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is this one right here. We have the yellow black. Peel this back just a little bit. Expose a little bit of that wire. Go ahead and tie this one in. If you can't find OBD0 plugs to make this plug and play, or you're not rocking with a company that has plug and play harnesses, you can just splice, twist, solder these wires in and do it for all of the wires provided so you can have functioning everything. What you shouldn't do is snip the wires completely, just in case, you know, you end up selling the car or the harness and going back to a stock harness with, you know, using these plugs for the ECU, that these wires don't need to be repaired other than loomed up with some electrical tape. So that's the first one here. Second one, fuel pump, goes to A12, which is one step back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is the green black back here. So that is the two main wires we're gonna need to turn the car on. Let's go ahead and route these guys to see how far we can go up and get this into the engine bay so we can plug up to the tower plugs. I can probably just get away with slicing up the harness a little bit so we can peel back the main plugs we need to get it into the firewall. But it's important to make sure you loom it back up. Oh, that is more than enough. So that's good. Okay, that's decent enough for me. So on the conversion harness, there's a 6-pin square connector right here. This is typically for the SI chassis. Now, the harness should have came with a adapter for if your car is a DX, because the DX has a round plug and it goes all the way to the driver's side, where the SI is on the passenger for this plug here. Mine didn't come with that, but fortunate for us, SI to SI, that's gonna work out perfectly. This square plug right here with the 8-pin, it goes into this brown sleeving one. So simple enough, we're just going to go ahead and connect these guys up. Make sure it's clipped in all the way. I remember last time we had a lot of starting power issue because this one looked like it was clipped on, but it wasn't fully clipped. And then the square plug right here, that goes in there. And this is a map sensor wiring, which we don't need. Just gonna leave that be. We're not needing this guy anymore either. And we're ready for an ECU. Right here. So for this car, I'm just gonna run a stock P72 OBD1. I'm not sure what ECU we're gonna be running in here yet before tune. That's still yet to be determined, based off how much of a budget I'm trying to go with this car. but this P72 will do for now. In part of modifying the radiator here, we also got the half shaft and driver's side axle installed yesterday, and the passenger side as well too. That's all done. The only thing left here to fire this car over right now is engine fluid, and once everything checks out with that, we'll do transmission fluid. So let's go ahead and grab some oil and get that sucker filled up. If you guys are looking for one of these screw-in funnels, be sure to hit the red zone link in the description below. And I just realized I need to order a catch can as well too. Break-in oil, nothing fancy, just some O'Reilly 10W30, and we're gonna cycle this a couple of times before we pull it out. And we're gonna be running the VR1 oil in here, so this is gonna be our break-in oil. Got my tray underneath to make sure we aren't spilling anything. We're gonna go 4.5 quarts on here, then we'll check it accordingly. No leakage. Let's go ahead and pump the rest of it in here. So I was under the car yesterday and I took a look at the exhaust system, and it looks like the test pipe lines up perfectly to the exhaust, right? Except we're fully extended out and the test pipe is about to fall off. I was going to bolt it up just now. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run it open header right now, and then we'll measure out the test pipe, pull it off, weld it up, and then we'll put it back on. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the battery tray that we picked up from the junkyard last week and get a battery in here. I'm only gonna secure this down with 2 bolts because I'm gonna pull it back off to paint it once I get the paint for the car to 12 mil. Got the plastic tray right here. Kind of nervous. Another 0 mile. I'm kind of nervous, if I'm being honest, and a lot of you guys are probably like, man, you've done this a million times, why are you nervous? This is a 0 mile rebuilt engine. I rebuilt this thing top to bottom, and it's always nerve-wracking because, you know, we're really testing the engine out, how my rebuilt is going to turn out. And we have the battery in, we have fluids in, ECU's in place. I can literally do this with key off. I don't know why I didn't think. Jump the starter with the key off. Nothing is powered, nothing will turn on. All right, put the distributor back on and the injectors. I'm gonna go inside the car and fire it over, if it works with the key. I guess it still doesn't. This thing sounds way crazier than the B20. It's probably the header. It's probably the header. half bottle and check underneath for leaks before continuing. Now, before I go underneath the car to work with the test pipe, I want to turn it back on and check the voltage of the alternator real quick, because I didn't do it earlier. Not the cleanest material, but not shabby at all. Not too shabby. I'm gonna set the camera down here and I'm gonna turn the car on and see what it sounds like with the mid exhaust before we do the full exhaust, or the axle back in this case. But set you guys up here real quick. Definitely gonna work on that muffler. So guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today's video. Super last minute decision to work on the car today, and we made some progress. We got the car plugged up to the ECU, we got the engine fluid up, we got the car fired over, it sounds awesome. We timed the distributor, and we got the mid exhaust system hooked up to the header. Now, there's really not much more to do with this car other than probably the fuel line, which I need to order tonight, along with all the fuel system for the H2B CRX. And then we need to switch the fuel to E85, obviously, but we'll do that when we get to the dyno. But aside from that, really just got to build the back exhaust system, and this thing should be ready to drive, even on the stock P72 ECU. So we're making progress in the right direction. You guys already know progress is better than no progress. I need to put that on a shirt already, or even make a sticker. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But the car is almost ready to rumble, and I'm pretty stoked about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the progress on the Project CRX. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for, I think there's a ham meet coming up this weekend, maybe a dyno session this weekend, or whatever we have in the store. If you guys want to stick around, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.